Thank you for joining today. I'm going to give a couple more minutes for folks to uh, jump into the webinar here. If you are interested in networking with folks that are attending, please feel free to add your LinkedIn information or your email, your institution, your name, your affiliation, or your role on campus. You can add that in the chat, and then folks can network with you if that is something you'd like to do today. And I'll give a quick introduction of myself, and then I will hand it over to Todd to um, kick us off. So, if you have not joined us for a Higher Ed Military Careers and Coffee session before, we welcome you. So glad you're here. I was just telling everybody, the panelists, this time of year gets really heavy with the lift of balancing life and work, and so your time is precious. And so we're really glad that you're here and taking this time with us today, whether you're watching after the fact or if you're here live. So thanks so much. Um, I'm Monica Siren, the Assistant Director of Editorial Strategy for Higher Ed Military, so mainly focus on resources, content, events like this, outreach, networking, building partnerships within this higher ed military or this higher ed affiliated space. So really glad that we have these awesome three presenters here today that Todd has helped organize for all of us to learn about and how we can start using these resources on our campuses and how to just better serve our students. So I will add my LinkedIn information in the chat if you're interested in networking with me. And I'm always willing to take feedback and ideas and innovative thoughts for higher ed military as a organization itself and content and articles and anything like that. So Todd, with that, I will hand it over to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Uh, I echo what you said. Thanks for all that could participate. I know there is a lot of going on, like trying to figure out the best date and time, with our California Colleges Veterans Counselors Consortium. Long, long title, right? But primarily open to any. We're not limited to only our counselors, but that's what the idea has been. And we've been in about, if you're new, we've been about doing this for 2 years now. And this last year, with higher ed, military, and Monica reaching out, be able to connect, and we did kind of a workshop panel presenter last month or 2 months ago, right? And it worked out really well. So Monica, I really appreciate you, facilitating and putting together this platform that makes it really smooth. And then a big thanks, we were able to, we try to do a meeting every other month, and there's a group of other counselors. I don't know if they're on, but Colin from Saddleback, Janelle from so I'm going to get them all, Norco, um, Bobby from Butte, different Leslie as well. Different individuals that have really played a part in trying to put this. And it's still a very grassroots group, right? We work with our chancellor's office and others, but we're not under that, particular group. So thanks for everybody attending. We have, I think, a phenomenal group of presenters from different areas, but areas that can be very supportive, I hope, and resources. And some of them I'm sure you probably already are aware of and worked with. But we'll start right, Monica, with our service to schools.
That's great. Thank you so
And
much, Todd.
I'll turn it over to Emma.
Perfect. Thank you, Todd. Thank you, Monica, for organizing today's session and for inviting us at Service to School to present. What I'm hoping to do today is give you guys an overview of what we do at Service to School, share some interesting statistics and some of our successes. So it's great to meet you all. My name is Emma Parrott, and I am the Director of Student Advising at Service to School. Next slide, please. At Service to School, we help veterans and active duty service members apply to college, and our goal is to get them into the best school possible, whatever that means for them. All of our resources are completely free for our veterans and service members to use, and we help them get into college by doing a couple of different things. Next slide, please. One of the resources that we offer is our advising team. So we have a team of 6 staff advisors. Our executive team is mostly made up of people who are military affiliated. We also have a lot of people with admissions backgrounds like myself, And we help and work with the veterans as they apply to college. We help them navigate the nuances of admissions processes. And in addition to our team of advisors, we also have over 500 volunteer administrators and ambassadors. Next slide, please. So a little bit about the why behind what we do. For most of our applicants, they are first-generation college students, and they don't necessarily have access to information and resources and knowledge about the college application process. And so we're here to fill that gap, to give them access to information, but also access to mentors and advisors as they navigate applying to college. Next slide, please. And from our experience, one of the most challenging parts of the college application process for these student veterans is translating their military experience into language that admission offices can understand and appreciate. And so we work directly with our applicants as they try to really unpack and reflect on the value of their military experience to these college campuses. Next slide, please. I'll talk a little bit more about who we support and how we do it. Next slide. So we have a bunch of different programs that we offer. And as I said, our goal is to get service members and veterans into, get them admission into the best college possible for them. And we have our undergrad advising program. This is for students who are interested in applying to 4-year full-time in-person undergrad programs. That's the bulk of what we do. And that's where we support most of the applicants. But we also have graduate program advising. And so we see quite a few applicants who are interested in getting MBA, JD, med school advising and support. And we offer that as well. And we support veterans from all different backgrounds. So from all branches of the military. Next slide, please. And all different ranks in the military. And as I mentioned before, the vast majority of the students that we are working with will be the first in their family to earn a bachelor's degree. Next slide, please. Our veterans are enrolling across the nation. Just some statistics here to get you a sense of where our students are going. It's all over the country. We have a lot of applicants who are applying to schools in the Northeast. For our undergraduate schools, the most popular schools for enrollment are Harvard, Princeton, and the Columbia General Studies School. For the MBA programs, Wharton, Harvard Business School, and Kellogg at Northwestern. And then for the JD programs for law school, Harvard, Yale, and Stanford are the most popular, where our applicants are enrolling. Next slide. My favorite part of what we do and what I think is the most impactful is our ambassadors program. We have our team of ambassadors. These are all volunteers and they are all current student veterans, so people who have recently gone through the process of applying to college. They work one-on-one with our student applicants, and these are amazing, accomplished student veterans who are really generous with their time. And so they work one-on-one with the current applicants and help them navigate any part of the admissions process. So helping them brainstorm essay topics, figuring out who to ask for recommendation letters, things like figuring out if they want to use the GI Bill, for example, how to get on-campus housing. Our ambassadors are wonderful. We have a lot of resources with them, and they're really very generous with their time. Next slide. So what we do a lot of different things. So we have our ambassador program that falls under the category of our peer mentorship. We're helping with, again, all different assets of the application process as they navigate writing their personal statements, figuring out who to get letters of recommendation from, but also more broadly, figuring out college fit. Where do they want to apply? Where will they succeed? We, as our staff advisors, and then also our student ambassadors, help with all these different parts of their college application process. Next slide, please. And we have an abundance of online resources as well. I'm really excited about this. I've been spending some time updating some of our online resources, but we have some great videos. We have a wonderful podcast series. So there's a lot of different ways to engage online with our resources. And it's really, our website is meant to be a resource in itself for applicants to go online, access advising materials, information about scholarships, all of that. We have a lot of that information available for our applicants as they're navigating every part of their college journey. So figuring out where they want to apply, how to actually apply, and then I'll talk a little bit more later about when they actually get to campus. Next slide, please. Another pretty unique part of what we do at Service to School is we offer our VetLink partnership. Next slide, please. Our VetLink partnership is a formal partnership that we have with over 30 selective colleges and universities. And these are all schools that have dedicated resources to supporting their veteran communities and say that this is really important for them and this is a priority for their campuses. And so there's a few different parts of our VetLink partnership. That's the one part that these are schools that really care about their veteran communities. And then we have this formalized relationship with them. So, for example, if an applicant is applying to a VetLink partner school, they can tell us, oh, I want to be connected with their admission office. We can make that connection for them. And then if they apply to a VetLink partner school as well, they'll have the opportunity to fill out an additional page of the application where they can talk about their military experience and translate that into language that admission offices can understand and appreciate. And so really it gives them this extra piece that makes their application more holistic and well-rounded. And so we have our VetLink partnership schools. I will say we work with applicants who apply to these highly selective schools and applicants who are not interested in our VetLink partner schools, and we're here to support them regardless of where they're applying. Next slide, please. I'll just briefly share some matriculation numbers. I have here some of the numbers of our top 5 most popular schools in terms of enrollment from last year of our VetLink partner schools. So we had applicants enrolling at really high numbers to Princeton, Brown, Yale, Harvard, and Stanford. And this is just to say that our students are really successful. Our veteran applicants that we work with are really successful. And so you can see totals from the last 4 years. We have a lot of applicants who are getting admitted and enrolling at these colleges. Next slide. And beyond just getting admitted and enrolling, our applicants are really successful. We see graduation rates that are much higher than national averages. And really what we are trying to do at Service to School is to break the cycle of low graduation rates, open these doors for students to enroll at these selective colleges, but also to graduate and to get really successful careers afterwards. And next slide, please. And we have this relatively new initiative, and Sydney might want to talk about this more later, but our To and Through initiative at Service to School that is focused on not only, again, helping applicants with their college admissions process, but supporting them from orientation to graduation, connecting them with resources and mentors as they apply to graduate programs or as they apply to different career opportunities. And so we have this additional network, but as well additional information and toolkits to help them graduate and succeed after college as well. And then I'll just wrap up by saying that one other new initiative that we're working on and that I'm hoping to spend more energy and time on is our informal partnerships with community colleges. Community colleges are a really important space in the higher ed landscape, but also we see the vast majority of our applicants enroll at community colleges before they come to us. And so we're hoping to work really closely with students at community colleges, but also counselors and be a resource and build on that. So if you're interested in connecting and having a conversation, next slide, please, you can reach out to me. We'd love to work together and establish that. And feel free to follow us on social media, send me an email. I'd love to stay connected. So, thanks so much. Great to meet you all. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Emma. I will just mention if you do have any questions about Service to School or for Service to School, you can throw those in the chat as well. And then Sydney or Emma here can answer accordingly, or we can if we have time at the end to do a little bit more chatting, we can do that as well. So with that being said, I am going to get our slides for Chloe ready here. Go. Okay. Let me scoot back there. Sorry, Chloe. I don't
No
want to get
worries.
ahead of myself.
No, totally fine. And yeah, sorry if there's like the weird transitions. Might be a
No,
little
they're
bit
pretty.
delayed.
They're fun. All right, Chloe, I'll let you introduce yourself. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone. My name is Chloe Terry. I am a program coordinator at Foundation for Women Warriors. We are a 501(c)(3) nonprofit that is predominantly based out of Southern California, but we service all of California, Virginia, New York, and New Jersey as well for our services. Have you go next slide. Perfect. So I'll share a little bit just, about our mission and everything like that. But we exist to serve women veterans and their children so their next mission is clear and continues to impact the world. And then we envision a world in which the service of every woman veteran is honored and she can achieve the quality of life that she fought for. Right. So I'll share a little bit about of our history. So for women's service when it comes to military, it dates back as far as the Revolutionary War, with roles being both supported as civilian and volunteers, with service being able to happen before women were able to vote, and then often that we've seen little recognition for contributions. So it's really important to us to honor that category of population for sure. Perfect. And so we are actually a 105-year-old nonprofit. We first developed in 1920 as the California Soldiers Widows Home Association. We had bungalows out in the LA area where we supported widows, mothers of veterans who were killed in service and whatnot. And then we kind of transitioned to military women in need as women started, being more active in the military community. And then it was a super peppy name, so we decided to change that a little bit. So when our most current CEO stepped in, she was able to get us rebranded and we became Foundation for Women Warriors within the last 15 years. So a brief synopsis, and I'll kind of go in more detail about each of our different programs, but we do offer financial and childcare assistance, personal and professional development. We have warehouse distributions as well as resources and referral programs. So for our financial assistance program, we aim to provide a short-term and high-impact financial assistance to our women veterans. And stipends under this cover third-party payments to cover either rent, utilities, and other emergency costs such as car repair. And this is really critical that we've seen for preventing homelessness and kind of serving as a safety net when things pop up unexpectedly for our families, where women and their children are at risk of falling back into or into homelessness in general. Our childcare assistance, so we can provide up to 12 months of childcare assistance. We pay directly to the providers, and this can cover things such as daycares, camps, after-school programs. And this really helps support our clients who are in the progress of, starting a new job and or going to school and earning a degree. Our warehouse distributions are one of my favorite things that we do. So we provide free critical necessities, which includes, car seats, cribs, diapers, wipes, clothing, and other household items like hygiene products. And we have that in our warehouse in San Diego, so in Vista, North County area. And then we also do a few distributions in the LA area as well. So we have our upcoming holiday distribution this year, which will be on December 20th. And we anticipate to serve at least 200 people for that. We also have partnerships with the VA women's clinics and maternity care from LA down. And then what our clients typically report is this really helps offset some of their monthly budgeting, and they're able to reallocate those earnings for other supporting needs such as housing and childcare. All right. And then so another program as the personal and professional development is our Women Veteran Lead program. So this offers in-person development workshops as well as online. And so we have self-paced curriculum through Accenture. And so that can be focused on specifically like financial education as well as career supportment as well. And then we also host an annual cohort, which I want to say is from June to October or so, where we host veterans and active duty women who are in transition with that personal professional development program. And then we also have the women attend the Fortune Most Powerful Women event and get to take them out there and kind of connect them with other resources at that point. And then, so for our clients that are elsewhere or are needing additional support, we have our National Connection Program for resources and referrals. So this really helps with us connecting the dots when there's wraparound services needed and kind of giving introduction to other partner agencies. So referrals can include things such as transportation assistance, legal, mental health, additional education support, etc. And then I'll share a little outcome-wise. So for our last fiscal year, we served a total of 2,785 women and children. And then for financial assistance, we were able to support 191 women and their children. 177 new and expecting mothers attended our baby showers and received critical baby items. And a total of 515 women and children attended warehouse distributions to receive new and critical household goods. For our personal and professional development programs, we had 257 participate, and then we introduced over 1,200 women to different partner organizations for additional support. And then just a little bit more impact-wise. So for our clients that did receive financial assistance, about 96% of them remained in their homes for an additional 12 months. 94% of them that received childcare assistance were able to remain employed or in school. 98% of our professional development participants reported an increase in confidence, and then 98% of our distribution participants reported a positive financial impact for their monthly expenses by coming to our support. And then over the years, so just total, we've served over 9,500 women and children, sponsored over 40,000 warm nights, and over 5,600 childcare days, and in total, almost over 4,500 women veterans and general support services. And we can skip that because I know questions might pop up later. But for contact information, you can always email us or go onto our website. And then I'll also put my personal email as well if there's anyone who needs to connect as well.
Thanks, Chloe. All right, I'm gonna check in on the chat here because I was looking. Okay, no, nothing yet. I was just going to mention, Bill, you prepare for this too. I think I'm gonna ask Emma, Chloe, and Bill at the end if there was one thing that you would want campuses to know about your program, or that is like, you'd like to get more information out there, or a misconception. Start thinking about that because I think when all of us see these resources, we're like, wow, these are great, but we want to know like what's our first step in collaborating, or what's the biggest, takeaway that my student veterans could get from the benefit of this program. So just keep that in mind. No pressure. All right, Bill, I will get you queued up here. Right. Oh, I need to go back. Sorry, I'm skipping ahead for everybody today. Okay, there we go. All right, Bill, take it away. Thank you so much.
All right, all good. So I'm Bill Johnson. I'm a retired Command Sergeant Major from the Army. I served just under 30 years. I was a Special Operations Green Beret. Kind of a weird career path, but you'll see how that kind of correlates into my civilian life, because as everyone knows, transition can be difficult. But we'll talk about some of that as we go through the slides. Let's go to the next slide. All right, our mission. So MVP aims to empower military members, veterans, and professional athletes to thrive through our post-service holistic wellness programs. At MVP, we focus on fitness. I'm sorry, my slides are moving around. Fitness, health, and wellness for veterans and athletes. Our vision is a world where every veteran and athlete transition into a purposeful life, supported by our community. Next slide. Our founder, Jay Glazer, is the Fox NFL analyst. If you watch football, you probably see him on Sundays. And then Nate Boyer, who's a former Green Beret, walk-on Texas Longhorn long snapper for 4 years, and then selected by the Seattle Seahawks. So he comes with a great background, and not only a professional athlete, but a service member transitioning. Jay and Nate met and then kind of talked about the difficulties of transitioning, not only on the military side, but on the veteran side. We saw the correlation between the two and said, hey, wouldn't it be great if we put something together that helps both military and veterans transition out of the uniform, but into a new team. Next slide. Our new mission, so MVP helps the veterans and athletes, like I said, redirect their strengths into meaningful missions after service. We try to aim to get the Warriors to thrive and lasting impact off the field, and then create an environment for sharing experiences and supporting each other within our organization. Next slide. Our focus, so MVP emphasizes holistic wellness, resilience, community impact, and inspiration. The holistic wellness includes physical fitness, mental, emotional and spiritual health, resilience, training that helps members navigate transition, the challenges that go with that, and then of course community engagement through volunteer work and leadership roles to inspire members to share their stories and how that helps others as they transition. Next slide. This is just kind of a how we do that. So we start with a workout that goes for anywhere from 30 to 60 minutes. That rotates then into a what we call a huddle, where we share wins and losses, and then it's just kind of a repeat cycle. We do that weekly in most cases. I don't know if I have it in the slides, but I'll talk about where we're located. And just FYI, I'm the Dallas branch manager for Immersion Vets and Players. I'm also the director for military and corporate relations. So that's kind of where I've come into play on this specific topic. Next slide. We talked about whole health. So MVP, we address the whole health and individuals focusing on mental and physical, emotional, and social well-being. What we found is 48% of our participants utilized those sessions through our clinical director. We do have a clinical director on staff. 87% of those reported sessions helped them, with 48% experiencing reduced anxiety and depression. Next slide. Our structure, like we said, is just a workout, and I already talked about that. Just throw in some fancy pictures so everyone can see it. Next slide. So in between the huddles, it's not just a weekly event. We also do stuff outside or in between the huddles, and that's just reaching out within the community to support where we can, not only on the athlete side, but on the military transition side. And we like in the Dallas chapter, we are partnered with the Dallas Cowboys, the Texas Rangers, all the other sporting events that Texas has to offer. And it helps with our transitioning athletes, but also with our military folks, gets them out on the field to kind of see what the athletes do as well. Next slide. We talked about the community events. Again, it's we're gearing up to do Reese Across America, but we do several other events. Specifically, again, I'm in Dallas in the Texas area, but we have 8 chapters that are around the country, and I'll talk about those in a little bit. Next slide. Our health and wellness. So we use a thing called MVP Pro, and it helps again with the mental health framework, various community engagement initiatives, monthly learning skills, and these are all things that our program trainer comes up with, along with our clinician that's on staff, to come up with the health and wellness app that we have. Next slide. Impact. So I picked Chris to just kind of spotlight the reason he's near and dear to me. Here's an Army veteran, again, Army. He's in our Chicago chapter, but through MVP, was struggling a little bit to what was after the military, you know, and through that gained quite a bit of weight. Used some other organizations to try and help, but I think using our holistic attempt at doing all this stuff, he was able to drop 100 pounds. The reason I say this one's personal for me is I had also struggled a little bit coming out of the military. I retired in 14. A little bit of stress. I went into being a CEO of a company. Thought that's what I was looking for. It really wasn't. But after about 8 years of doing that, again, just kind of struggled for purpose. And I'd actually gotten up to about 248 pounds. Uh, Started looking for something to help me as well, and found that's when I found Merging Vets and Players. Used that to regain focus. I'm glad to say I've worked on it for a few years, but I'm down to about 170 pounds, and again, a lot of that is through my peer-to-peer support that helps me keep focused, um, and through our clinician. But we have a lot of great stories, and if you go onto our website, you'll see some of those success stories. Next slide. This is our impact by the numbers. About 21% of our membership growth, 98% of our membership through engagement. And you can read the slides, but bottom line, we are making a difference. We've raised about 1.5 million, using 70% of that donation through life-changing programs, which we kind of talked about and touched on earlier. Next slide. This is how you can get involved. Like I said, in this where I'll touch on our different locations. So we're spread across the country. We start from the East Coast up in Seattle. We are in California and Los Angeles. Kind of moving west, we're in Phoenix, Arizona, Dallas, Texas, Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm drawing a blank on the other ones, but I'll get back to it. And we're getting ready to open a chapter up in Washington, D.C. And then we have a virtual chapter, because what we found is kind of specific. What we try to do is kind of plant our seed where there was a large population, not only athletes that were getting out of football, baseball, basketball, whatever it might be, but also veterans. So we kind of planted ourselves in those bigger cities, and then couldn't reach out to everybody. So we started the virtual chapter, which has over 150 folks that show up on a weekly basis. Next slide. That is our website there, my personal email. If you do have any questions or want to figure out how to get involved, you can either email me directly or you can go to our website. What's nice about our program, it's at no cost to the athletes or the veterans. Everything's paid. Once you become a member, you're a member to all the chapters, so you don't have to sign up. If you live in Dallas, you won't have to sign up to go to the Phoenix chapter or the virtual chapter. So what we like to say is once you join MVP, you're a member for life, and there's no expectation from you other than if you volunteer for something, you show up. Subject to questions, that's the end of my brief.
Thanks, Bill. All right, I saw a couple questions come in through here. So, Sydney, I'm going to share your answers to everyone here. And then we will send out the contacts and the recording. I will, first of all, Colin is asking, Colin, I believe this was for Bill. Do you have anything in Southern California? We have a golf tournament March 9th in Orange County. Love to have you join or support. Is that something that that MVP can jump in on with campus events like that?
Yes. So we have a program manager in Los Angeles. In I know it's probably not close to where you're all at, but bottom line, they'll cover down on most things in California, especially a golf tournament.
Perfect. And then I did see Colin had asked, are there any income requirements for services like across the board for you all? And then Sydney had mentioned there's no income requirements for service to school. And then Chloe mentioned that to receive financial child care assistance application, the clients need to be working or in school, but no income requirements. So throw more questions in there if you are have any other questions specifically for the panelists. But I'm going to throw my question at you all about what is the number one value that you could bring to a campus by partnering or bringing your services to a department or to an office or an event. So if anybody wants to jump in first, Emma, Chloe, or Bill, go right ahead.
I'll go first.
Okay, perfect.
So our value added, especially on the military side, is a twofold, I think. If they are former service members that are using their GI Bill to go to college, I think we can help again with that identity, kind of what you do next after the uniform comes off. If they are ROTC focused and getting ready to go to service, again, we're pretty purple when it comes to services. We've got program managers that are Marines, Air Force, Army. We've covered the whole spectrum. I don't think we have a Coastie, but I've spent a lot of time working with Coast Guard. So if someone's looking at questions on transitioning into service, I think we can support that effort as well. And I'll turn it over to Emma or Chloe.
You want to go on that? I don't mind sharing.
You go ahead, Chloe. I'll go after you.
Okay. Yeah, I think one of the biggest things that came to mind is just opportunity and connection. I think so many of our clients that we see, I've heard a lot of them, they're like, oh, if I don't, you know, if I'm not able to get childcare, whatever the other factor may be, they're like, I'm gonna have to drop out of school or I'm not gonna be able to keep my job, and those concerns. So I think by able to bringing our connection to campus with people and giving them the opportunity to be able to stay and like focus on their education is gonna set them up for long-term success, which we really value and want for our clients. So, we really pride ourselves on sustainability, and getting that long-term investments in our clients, even if it's for a short-term impact. And overall connection, we really want to foster those long-term relationships. So I think that's really important to us at our organization.
I was going to say something similar about network building, but I'll add on to that. I think for us at Service to School, we want veterans to know that they are qualified applicants to highly selective colleges and universities. And from my experience, I've seen a lot of students who kind of like question their value or if they're able to get into these colleges. And so there's this big issue of students undermatching or not even applying to schools that in reality they actually really are selective applicants. And particularly for us at Service to School with our VetLink partners, these are all schools that want veterans on their campus. They want to grow their veteran populations. They have resources for them, funding for them. And so I think letting students know they are qualified, these schools want them. And then once they arrive on campus, being a part of Service to School, there's access to this huge network, mentors, all of that.
Thank you all. Todd, did you have any questions for the panel? If not, we can give a minute for folks to, get confident and throw out a question or two, but I'll see if you have any first.
Yeah, definitely. I have a couple questions. I mean, I appreciate all panelists sharing about the great services, and even like when Colin was asking, some of your organizations sound like they're based in one particular area, but it not necessarily true, right? But same like Chloe, if there was a school up in the Bay Area and they had like you said about daycare, uh, what would be the route? Like, do they just reach out to you? Is that something that you go, past the Southern California? That type of question I have. And then same thing with Bill. I know I've been really trying to reach out, like, hey, I'd love to see you guys develop a chapter out in the San Francisco area. And one of the things I was told is we could do the virtual for now. And we've had you guys come up, actually go to a Giants game, and that was amazing. The presenter and stuff that was done. But anyways, I'll go to Chloe first. Like, are your guys' resources able to reach out, past Southern Cal and
Yeah. Yeah. So for our services, we have funding available for California, Virginia, New York, and New Jersey. So while we're based in Southern California, we service the whole state. And that would include any of the financial support as well. I'm a former Bay Area girl myself, so I'm a proud supporter, and love working with Northern California clients. But for process and everything, what we do is we have our clients like go on our website and we have a form that they can fill out. And then if they are working with a counselor, they can send it in too and submit it on behalf of the client, just uploading their client's information and demographical information. And then kind of next steps of what that looks like is our team of programs. There's about 4 of us. We do an intake call with them. It's typically a 15-minute call just to kind of, get some more information about where they're at in the process. If they haven't identified childcare yet, sending them resources to identify it. And then if they are kind of, more settled in that regard, or, they're ready to proceed with rental, we'll kind of walk through our application process at that point. And then for our applications, once the client submits it, as long as no documents are missing or, we don't have a lot of clarifying questions, our turnaround time is about 2 to 3 weeks, to get a decision made. And so for rent, it's a one-time only, like 1 month at most. And then for childcare, it can be more of that longer term support. And it can vary in cost of what that looks like because obviously childcare is super expensive now. And a lot of our clients are paying more in childcare than they're paying in their rent or mortgage costs. So definitely trying to find the support there for that.
thank you. And that I know from just experience, that's really nice because it's as a counselor, it's a really nice, I want to say a warm handoff, but a very warm handoff where
Mhm.
you guys just take it on there from and connect. So appreciate. And then Bill, is there, I know Colin had asked about like being involved in, is there stuff like how does the schools that might not be directly in the area partner with you guys? Because it sounds like some great opportunities. And I want to know a little more about the virtual side of it.
Yeah, so the virtual chapter is pretty it's pretty much like our brick and mortar gym, but it's in the privacy of your home. So it's actually been very popular. I've done it a couple times, especially if we have a snow day or an ice day here in Dallas. Rather than trying to get somebody to drive up to the gym, we'll join the virtual chapter. Um, but what we do, and I'll speak specifically for the Dallas and the Texas area, we'll do what's called pop-ups. So if I get the University of Texas to go, hey, we'd like you guys to do something with our ROTC program, our athlete program. We'll do what's called a pop-up. So I'll have several members from around the area meet up at that location, and then we'll do the workout. And then based on the audience, our sessions tend to be more of a enclosed kind of thing, so we can share wins and losses. But we'll do a version of that session to where we can get everybody to kind of see what that entails and how that works. We are taking Houston, for example, wants a chapter in Houston. In California is a large state as well, but as you guys are aware, I'm up in Dallas, so for me to drive down to Houston, it's about a 5-hour drive. But I've done that in the last 3 months about 4 times. But we're looking at whether or not we have the resources to open up a chapter. Like most nonprofits, we're limited by by our funding. But if we get enough people asking for a certain location, it's something that we'll definitely look at.
It sounds like a great opportunity for, I know there's a lot of barriers to host something on a campus, but like what you're doing at some of the universities, that sounds like it would be a really good possibility where you guys coordinate the professional athletes and then the schools coordinate the veterans to be there and a free facility, right? Or somewhat free. So,
Somewhat free. And then we normally can get Nate Boyer, our founder, to fly out to those events. And then, of course, he comes with his whole posse of former professional athletes.
I
I
love what you, oh, go ahead, go ahead.
oh, go ahead, Todd. No, no,
I
go
was
ahead. You finish
I
your
was just
thought.
gonna say I love the idea when I heard about it and I saw the movie and I was like, wow, what a great opportunity to a different way of supporting veterans and mental health and physical fitness and just a great opportunity and it seems like you guys are growing very well. So I
We're,
appreciate what
we're,
you're
we're
doing.
definitely working on it. Thank you, Todd.
Wow. We're all in that space. We're all learning and trying to grow our programs. So JD White says, can community colleges become partners with JD? I'm assuming you're talking about MVP. I'm thinking of adding a link to our website for our veterans to this program if possible. But maybe JD, just confirm if community call or if you're talking to a specific host there. Um,
No,
along the lines of, okay, so that was for MVP and service to school. Can community colleges become partners?
yeah. And I'll talk for MVP. So our membership is former professional athletes are veterans. Um, and by professional athlete, now colleges kind of join that uh, with the
Mm.
NIL and all that stuff that they're doing. So as long as they've competed at a professional level, whether it's MMA, boxing, basketball, baseball, athlete can prove that they've competed at a collegiate level, we can bring them on as members. And the sign up for doing that is very simple. Once they go to the website, say they want to join, there's a couple of documents that they provide. Depending on where they want to join from, that local program manager will reach out to them, confirm some stuff. But bottom line, it's a very simple process. So I would say yes, uh, not only community colleges, but folks in the surrounding areas. It's very simple to join up.
And then I'll jump in for service to school just to say that we do not have a formalized partnership yet with community colleges, but we are hoping to build that out. We do just like work with community colleges really closely. And so I'll put a link in the chat so you can sign up to schedule a call, fill out a form, and we can hopefully organize things together, even though we don't have a formalized partnership like we do with our VetLink schools quite yet. Hopefully soon.
And Emma, I know we had I don't want to hog if anybody's got questions, but I remember we had a conversation about community colleges and and the transfer centers that are doing the PIQs, which was the other day was a deadline and students lining up, opportunities for you guys to support, right? Where maybe a school doesn't have that kind of support um, or they do and it's just supplemental. I know you were talking about more and more partnering with the community colleges too, which I'm excited about, right? So that's an opportunity, right? Would we just have our student vets, if they're applying, reach out to you, apply, and then you guys are able to do that? I know there's the mentoring and a lot of amazing stuff you're doing.
Absolutely. We really want to grow that. So thanks for pitching us like that. And I think for us, we, have this kind of expertise in applying to selective colleges. I think for us, a little bit of a gap and something that we lean on our community college partners for, specifically in California, is applying to the UC schools and CSU schools because the community colleges in California have that expertise on guaranteed transfer admission and all of that. So that's definitely something we're hoping to build out.
I have a general question. I don't see any more, so I'm going to throw another question at the panelists here. In higher ed, we are always struggling with engagement and getting our student veterans to show up and attend things and, engage in some way, shape, or form with our services and our programming. I'd like to ask each of you, being external to higher ed, what has worked best for you for getting veterans and their families to attend your events, show up, be a part of your services and events and programming? Maybe we can learn something from you all in that element. Chloe, I'll have you start since we gave you a break.
Um, I would say for obviously it's going to look a little differently. I would say for the majority of our clients that are showing up consistently, and then our new clients that we get, a lot of it's based on peer referral and word of mouth. And I think that's been super, super helpful. Establishing those long-term relationships and connection to where they're like, oh no, like they want to support and help. And so they're kind of gaining their trust. And then being in San Diego, we're super close to a lot of our, our bases and everything, with Pendleton being super, super close by. So a lot of outreach directly. So many events going on, just networking and introducing ourselves to build those connections has been really helpful. I'd say those are probably the most predominant way that we're getting clients is a lot through social media. We have a really great marketing team that's been working really diligently in that, but peer referrals, I think, been the strongest, for
Yeah.
kind of building those connections and getting people to engage more and like kind of building the trust, I'd say more.
Yeah.
And knowing that we're not judging, especially because our organization is so focused on, the financial part. A lot of clients are coming in really difficult situations, and they're like, I shouldn't be. And there's a lot of stigma around that and shame. So I think by having other people kind of refer us, it's able to kind of build that trust a little bit better.
Yeah, I love that. I think in higher ed, I think we get very bogged down by the mass email and like the social media
Hmm.
posts and like all that stuff. So I like that you say it like go face to face and like you're like, hey, like we want you here. We want you to show up, no judgment zone, like please come to the event,
Yeah.
kind of like, really hands-on. So that's
Yeah, and I think
awesome.
it's definitely like a slow and steady sometimes. It's almost like you need maybe it's
Yes.
that one client that you're connecting with, maybe two here and there, and then it's finally the momentum can start building. But it definitely takes time and
Yes.
patience, and not getting too but burnt out if you're like, oh, it's not happening the way I wanted it to, but
Yeah. My
they will
students
show
aren't
up.
showing up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. I love that. I love that. Emma or Bill, what's worked for you engagement wise?
Go ahead, Emma.
I was going to let you go, Bill. I was typing in the chat, so I need another
No,
minute
I
to
can do it.
process. You go first.
Okay. So, and it's hit or miss. We do weekly sessions, and I think it varies from people showing up from 10 to 25 to 30. Um, it's tough. And what we found is finding that tool, that interest, especially if it's something common. For most of our vets, it's how do you navigate the VA and that system and how it works. So we try to pick topics that are pretty much going around the social media area. We'll grab some of those. We talk to our members to go, okay, hey, what do you think what's the topic of the day? But I think it's figuring out those interests. And then the other thing, everyone likes to work out. So we highlight the workout in how we do that. And we found that some people shy away from the workout because they think, well, uh, I'm not in the greatest shape. But our workouts are designed for amputees, they're designed for overweight people, they're designed for people in shape. It's you show up and do what you can. The other thing we found, uh, if they show up at least twice, three times, it becomes an itch. I mean, they want to come back, but if we can't get them to show up the second or third time, uh, it's hard to understand a session until you've been there once or twice and then realize we're all after the same thing, and that's helping our fellow veterans. The other thing, and I think Chloe touched on it, is there's a lot of nonprofits out there, but we're not against each other. We're working all for the same exact thing, and that's taking care of our veterans and our athletes. So developing those relationships outside of our organization has proven to be very helpful. All right, over to Emma.
Great, thank you. I think for us at Service to School, a couple of things that I really love about what we do is we vary the different formats for what we have. So we have, for example, a podcast that Sydney started that's really fun and engaging. We have blog posts, we have digital resources, we have webinars. So kind of varying the different formats for what we do. I also think that, again, like partnering with experts, holding webinars with our partner schools that we have, we'll invite people to come and speak and give sessions to kind of draw more crowds because we have the different populations, people that we work with, they come through us, they work with our partner schools. So having different kind of networks to build on. And then I also think that there's a large piece of this all that's about like community and relying on each other. And so Service to School, we have this like one-on-one ambassador program. So it really is, there's kind of a level of accountability when you have someone who is your mentor. They're reaching out, they're saying, I want to chat with you, I want to learn about why you want to apply to college. And then for us as staff advisors, I think also just like reaching out, we send out emails once a month to all the students that we work directly with and say, hey, anything on your mind, schedule a call with me. And so I think that idea of like being proactive about reaching out and also being like available and excited and willing to speak, I think a combination of all those things is what we do to try to keep people engaged.
Love that. Those are all great takeaways. Todd, I'll let you wrap up. I will just say thank you all for attending today and taking the time. Really appreciate you being here, and to all of you hosts for spending the time as well. Thank you so much. I feel like we all learned something and can take something away today. But so that's my goodbye, Todd. I'll let you have yours here.
Yeah, thank you. And I echo it, thanks for the panelists. Thanks for all attending a lot and what you do. I mean, everybody serving our veterans, military affiliates. And, I don't know if Colin's there. I know he's doing multiple things. I was going to have him do the closing to talk about, our organization really is to bring in and to share resources as well as support our California colleges veterans counselors. We have a lot of them now. So this is a great platform. We will be trying to meet at least every other month. I'll send it out. I tend to send out a link to if you can sign up if you haven't. It's free. Kind of the same thing as word of mouth, and that's the best way for us to get the information. And I'm hoping that Monica still sticks with us, so we can continue using her and Ed as a platform because it seems to flow really well. But you guys have a great holidays. I know, like I can't believe for our college next week's finals. It just doesn't sit in my head. Like it's done, right? I think
Definitely.
Colin, you want to close it?
Yeah, sorry. I'm sitting in the lobby of a hotel room or a
Nice.
hotel lobby for CPL. So just a couple quick updates. I was at the Vets Directors by the Chancellor's office yesterday and then CPL today. CPL is coming in hot. So, I think at our campus, they look directly at the veterans population and veterans counselors in particular to be the champions of CPL. It's much larger than that, and it's a huge undertaking. So just wanted to share that while I believe in CPL and I think it's going to move forward in a good way, be careful about what you volunteer for when the conversation comes up at your campus. It should be a dedicated person, not a counselor doing it 2 hours of release time a week. So just give you a heads up on that. And then on the director's side, it looks like, the chancellor's office has moved forward with increasing VRC funding by an additional 10 million or so. And it looks like it's moving through the legislative process to get to the governor's desk during the budget approval, which would essentially probably double the amount of money that VRCs have to pay for things like counselors. And then just lastly, I got to present a little bit yesterday. Kind of noticing that there's many schools that just have veterans counselors that are working, they're adjunct counselors. Some don't have full-time veterans dedicated counselors out there. So the need for training, I feel like, is increasing. I'm just kind of hearing that word on the street. And we hope that the CCVCC, which got a good plug yesterday from Heather at the directors conference, continues to grow. And if you have veterans counselors that you know that are in need of specific training, please refer them to this organization. And we'll continue to work on some of that on our end to make sure that California has the best trained and most resourceful and student-centered veterans counselors in the country. So I just want to put that plug out there. Great work, Todd. Great agenda. Thank you so much for all the presenters. Very, very helpful.
Thank you, Colin. I think that was perfect. And you guys all have a safe, wonderful holidays and get a little bit of rest too, right? Thanks, Monica.
Certainly.
Thank you all.
Yep. Thank you all. Take
Thank
care.
you.
Yeah,
Thank
nice to
you.
meet you all.